Hey, okay. Ha! I just got done creating one video, a video. I was ranting off, and it took off with a different meaning. But go watch it. All right. It's about our relationship with the Iranian people and a little history about Iran and why we shouldn't mess with it. But anyway, that's on another video. So the other question I've been getting this last few weeks, about 2+ weeks, is I created a video about how the Marines are going to be involved in probably as a having the Card Island occupied and using it as one of their missions, because it is what the administration had sent them there for, and administration has been blowing a lot of smoke about Card Island. So I placed a comment, a post on Facebook with regards to Card Island, and I was just trying to get how some of my military friends think on how we're gonna occupy it, and I got a few backlash. So let me explain this further, all right? What the Marine Corps really is capable of doing, and why we shouldn't be invading Card Island. I'll explain to you why. Okay? And again, this is unedited. I don't cut this and eliminate, delete those that I do believe should not look or sound right, because this is me. Okay? This is what comes from here, from all these years of knowledge that I know. Okay? From my travels, from where I was born, my experiences, and everything else. I mean, I didn't retire from the Navy just because I retired from the Navy. So anyway, I spent 5 years. One of the ships I served on was an amphibious ship. It was part of an amphibious ready group that I deployed 3 times in 5 years, which means that I served 5 years on board that one ship. That one ship alone, I was there for 5 years. Okay? But I did serve on 4 of them. And in between those, I went to 2 recruiting commands. But anyway, so a lot of people have brought up that question. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to correct some mistakes and some myths. And probably add some facts. Okay? The Marine Corps. Now, in the age of sailing ships with sails that sails. Did I get that right? Well, we didn't have no engines yet at that time. Our sailors used Marines. Now, they didn't go on land. They didn't have those special amphibious vehicles. And what they did was that during those days, when ships were like firing at each other broadside, right? From port, starboard, and whatever. We had to take over the opposing ships, the enemy ships. And how we did that, we used grappling hooks, and when we had a numerical advantage, these ships would fire from the top of the mast using our Marines, and then our Marines would climb on board the other ship and take over the other ship. As years and decades and centuries went by, the Marines ended up going on land in support of naval missions, because we just cannot survive on ships. You got to take over land. That's where the modern Marine Corps came up. So World War I, okay, there are 3 campaigns I'm going to talk to you guys about on why, as an example, why we shouldn't take Card Island. But anyway, so the Marines developed the doctrine of going on land in support of naval missions and naval strategy. That's when, after World War I, we developed the strategy, especially in the Pacific, being so vast. How do we take over the enemy, especially at that time, Japan? So pre-World War II, the Marines started training on invading the opposition, specifically islands, airfields, troop concentrations that are located on smaller islands, not the big continents where the U.S. Army prevails. Okay? So with support from the Navy ships and aircraft, we could literally bombard, target, and then land the Marine Corps on those situations. Okay, we got so good at it because of the assets that we have from the Air Force and the Navy. We are able to support a landing force to be able to provide cover for those landing force. And of course, to ensure that the mission is accomplished. We were so good at it that we ended up hopping from one island to another, and ultimately to Okinawa, which was the last target. Okay? So we called it an island hopping campaign, which started in Guadalcanal, and then we moved west and northwest. The Army ended up taking the bigger chunks, like Papua New Guinea and then the Philippines. Okay? But the smaller islands, with naval support, air support, and Air Force support, we were able to just literally hop island to island and ended up on the last two battle of Iwo Jima, where we lost 6,000 Marines, and Okinawa. We had about 24,000 casualties in Okinawa. Now, you just imagine. Why this is relevant is this. For the past 60 years, all of our amphibious landings, not just the Marine Corps, but also the U.S. Army in Operation Overlord, Operation Torch in North Africa, and the Sicilian and the Italian campaign were preceded. So what I'm trying to say is before they went on land, conduct their amphibious operations, we literally bombarded the beaches up to 4 miles inland, which is pertaining to Operation Overlord in Normandy. We had so much firepower that we could literally level mile by mile by mile to how far distant we deem is necessary to conduct our business to ensure a safe landing. Now, in the Pacific, those little islands literally became a moonscape, including Iwo Jima, Tarawa, Peleliu. They started in Guadalcanal, okay? Leyte and then Papua New Guinea, they became also an example of how the Army, now the Army just wasn't as, the Marine Corps and the Navy are pretty good at doing this, okay? The Army was also reliant on the Navy and of course the Air Force. Now, why is this vital? Because after World War II, the next amphibious landing was in Korea, in Incheon. We did the same thing. After that, that was it. No more mass division-led landings, amphibious landings by the United States. Name me one. I'll stand corrected. Of course, there were small skirmishes in between Vietnam, Grenada, Panama, and here, but no more mass landings that were preceded by mass bombardment and Air Force drops of tons of bombs to suppress the enemy. If that is what you are thinking of what we are going to perform in Iran, go read a history book, because that ended in Korea. Why? Because right now, all of those, even Operation Overlord in Normandy, even though the Germans knew that the Allies, the Canadians, the British, Americans, who did I miss? And a division of French were going across the channel, they didn't know what day and what time. So all of these incursions, all of these amphibious landings, which we learned from Gallipoli in World War I, and the amphibious landing in Dieppe, France, which was a massacre. All of this were done in secrecy, in surprise, and the prelude to that was a huge bombardment to support our landings. We can't do that anymore, people. Why? Because we have sensors that reach beyond the horizon. We have drones. We have satellites that can see everything, even through bad weather. And we do not have the capability now to launch 12, 14, 15, 16, 18-inch shells across the horizon. We barely can afford a missile barrage. Take a look at our ships. There is nothing bigger than a 5-inch gun. So how are we going to bombard those beaches? Last example, Desert Shield, Desert Storm. There were 5 to 7 amphibious ready groups across the horizon, beyond the horizon in the Persian Gulf, which Iraq knew were there. But they didn't know when we were going to land, when we were going to go. Guess what? We didn't even use them. Because the two corps of the Army, which was 4 divisions, made a left hook. On the shores, look at it this way, they went this way. If this is Kuwait, I'm sorry, I don't have this splendid cut and paste videos that I could edit. So just follow me here. On the shores were 2 Marine Corps divisions. We had at that time a maximum, aside from 2 Marine Corps divisions, the capability to send 5 to 7 amphibious ready groups. That was the maximum capacity, that was the maximum manpower that we ever had for the Marine Corps. Now we only have 3 full divisions. I think one of them is in Camp Pendleton, the other one's in Camp Lejeune on the East Coast, and the other one's in Okinawa. Out of those, that's where we acquire this different combat personnel that we are able to fulfill a variety of roles for the Marine Expeditionary Units, which we now have 2 on its way to the Persian Gulf. Okay? One's 2,500 men, one's 2,200 men. And not so if you thought, okay, we got 4,700, it's still piecemeal compared to 2 divisions during Desert Storm and 5 to 7 amphibious ready groups. Now we only have 2. You're probably going to add, we got the 82nd Airborne coming up. The reason why I started with a history lesson is because most of you are probably going to ask, well, what's the relationship with that, with this and this and that? Well, guess what? If you listen to me closely, all of those examples I provided was from Korea, the Korean War, till before that. We never had a mass amphibious operation after that, for the reasons I already mentioned. It's just that we couldn't afford to bombard. We don't have the capability. We don't have that anymore. And we're obviously not going to use missiles. Duh, we are running short of surface-to-air missiles, surface-to-surface missiles. The majority of the bombs we are dropping now in Iran are dumb bombs. Some of them have a tail fin section and they're JDAMs, Joint Direct Attack Munitions, wherein they are literally guided. They are dropped from an F-15 Echo or an F-16, right? F-16D or an F-18E, is it ENA, whatever, or an F-35. They are dropped and they glide. But they gotta be between 12 to 20 miles distance from the target. You can't stop them, okay? We don't even have enough of that. How are we going to provide cover for a Marine Expeditionary Unit on an island that is defended and less than 50 miles from Iran? If you know the answer to that question, you're a smarter man than I am, because I haven't figured that out yet. When we started this campaign, I said they should have been there sooner as a deterrence, but they were not. Now we're sending them there now. We are sending them there now, which means deterrence has already failed. Look, the enemy knows we're coming. Why are we going to send him on land? Today's Marine Corps operates from beyond the horizon. The earth is curved, right? If you are within line of sight of what you are attacking, they already know you're there. So we go beyond the horizon. There are 3 ways on where you could transport these personnel. Through what we call landing craft, versus landing craft air cushion, They're basically hydrofoil, not hydrofoils, but air cushioned vehicles that runs on air. I'm not a gas turbine tech, nor am I one of those. I've never been stationed in those. But they literally are landing crafts that sits on a cushion of air on a rubberized blubber. That's how I'll call them. Pushed by two big propellers from the back, run by gas turbine engines. And they can transport men and equipment, but they are slow. They don't go 30 knots, okay? But they are capable. One thing they are good at is that they are fully amphibious. They go from water to land, beyond, and drop their gear, come back, and go back again. But if the enemy still has their sensors, their surveillance systems, radar still working, guess what? They're sitting ducks. The quickest way of transporting these Marines are by tilt rotor or vertical tilt rotor aircraft, the V-22s. Quick, fast, but they can only transport so much. They can transport, I do believe, a platoon of Marines plus their vehicles. Now they got to go back. The problem is we cannot go through the strait. That means they got to venture off from about 200 miles past, because Karg Island, guess what? It's on the other side. It's on the very end. It's almost as close as it can be to Kuwait. So there goes the element of surprise, don't it? So now for you to transport these Marines, you got to fly through air coverage by Iran. On one side of it is Iran. All you need is one radar working. Duh! Or some sheep herder that sees, oh shit, what the hell are those guys doing? They call it in. Lastly, we got to eliminate every individual that carries an RPG, a man-pad, a man-portable air defense system, which includes a Stinger. I don't know what they have. I'm not that good. No, you understand that they still have that 200,000 Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, which we haven't dented yet. Here we are, the technology of war. We're telling ourselves, oh, we can shoot everything. We blasted this. They don't have a Navy. They don't have an Air Force. They are asking us to bring boots on the ground, people. Now, you know what's sad? The loudest people that are actually yelling their hearts out to go to war are those that have never seen one, never been on one, never served. And they're just willingly, boisterously sitting in a grandma's basin wanting somebody else to do it for them. That's what sickens me. And they have no clue how this strategy of ours works, because first of all, we don't have a strategy. We're making this shit up as we go along. Okay, YouTube, ban me. I don't care. Right? It is so pathetic. I have to explain how the Marine Corps works from a Navy retired squid, because some individuals, well, you know, the majority of them really want this information. But the reason why I'm ranting off is because some of you guys just got no clue. And totally 180 degrees from what the concept is of what I'm trying to say. This isn't what I'm not making this up. Read. Grab a book. Click the damn page. Well, not on the internet now, right? But don't read no meme or Facebook post that you're going to believe in, right? Because there's a reason why I don't edit this. This is spontaneous. This is why it is so prevalent that we need to ensure that the information that we want to believe in is not just going to happen because we believe it. Got to use the facts. Okay? The Marines that we used in World War II the Marines that we have now does not operate like how the Marines operated in World War II. We don't have that capability anymore. And the Marines that we are having right now that oh my gosh, if there is somebody out there, I served 3 deployments with these kids. And oh my God, there is, you want to send somebody to war, you send the United States Marine Corps. But now it's not the job that we are asking them to do right now. It's not part of what they trained for. They're not there to hold an island a week probably, but they're not there to stay there. The Army probably can last longer because they come in with everything. The Marines, they strike quick, fast, and violent. That's what they're good for. So hopefully you did understand my concern. And actually, a part of this was to address your concern and to correct your concern. Right? I love these people, man. And there's a reason why part of my job is doing this. Not this video, but in my real estate career, I love helping my military service members. To a point that sometimes I don't make anything out of it. Okay? Because there's a reason why they're serving. So it pisses me off when the majority of the country has no clue what's going on. Let's just go to war. Well, why don't you serve? Then you'll understand. You'll understand the anxiety that us veterans go through. All right? So hopefully I did answer my friends' questions. And then there are people out there that are, I'm surprised. I'm getting a lot of, I don't have a lot of subscribers, but I don't do this to make money. I don't monetize out of it. I'm not even asking people to subscribe. I'm just here to answer some of those questions that you may have on my job in real estate, on my hobby, which is shooting and reloading, and now to discuss about what I know about the Navy and how it pertains to the current global situation that we're in. Right? So if you guys got any questions on any of those topics, this is getting pretty lengthy, 22 minutes now. I've been talking. So please send me a note, all right? To the men and women out there, our sons and daughters, brothers, sisters, husbands and wives, you're deployed, come on home. We love you guys. There's a reason why we get to do what we do now. It's because you do what you get to do. It has been a pleasure, a privilege, and an honor to observe